Uh, uh, Great. Thanks, Satya. Thanks for joining this
Yeah,
travel
no issue.
series we're doing. We're doing for the pretty much from the COVID crisis, and pretty much we are focusing more on people from UK to Chennai. So we believe you just recently came to Chennai. So if you can start with what sort of steps you took before you starting your journey, and then pretty much your travel experience, so that anyone who wants to do similar journey will be helpful for them.
Yeah, first of all, it was very helpful in joining the UK Tamil Makkal Forum, from which Sid and other people gave us lots of guidance, and it was easy for us to book our tickets and just travel back home. I traveled during the VBM Phase 5 from Heathrow to Cochin.
Okay.
The issue was there was no flights available for the feeder flights. They never opened the feeder flight tickets. So I got only till Delhi. After that, I could get only till Cochin. So I couldn't directly come to Chennai. But anyway, it was a blessing in disguise because I was not forced to go quarantine in Chennai as I came by Cochin. So first of all, as they opened the tickets, I got advice from others like Sid instructed that it would be better if we can go to Karnataka or Kerala as before Tamil Nadu they started home quarantining rather than institutional quarantine. So though I tried, I could only book till Delhi, and I was looking for options for whichever way I could reach Tamil Nadu, it would be better. By the time I had booked my tickets, the new protocols came up and the guidelines. It was like if you are under the exempted category and take a test within the 96 hours, you can directly go home. But there was again a problem in Chennai. Like though you land, you have to go to a institutional quarantine until your first test comes out negative, and you give your second sample and you can leave. After they issue a no objection and can get a e-pass. So that was an issue. But I couldn't get a ticket to Chennai from Delhi. So I had a layover of about 17 hours in Delhi. I got a free flight to Cochin. So the experience at Heathrow was pretty much simple. My flight was at 9:30 a.m. in the morning. So it was like reach 4 hours prior to boarding. 5:30 I reached around 5 a.m. Before me, there were a lot of people who came even much earlier than the time. But the issue was, though the Air India advises us to come 4 hours earlier, they open the counter only 3 hours or 3.5 hours before the boarding time. So we have waited in a long queue. After that, they give a declaration form, which you have to just fill it up and give to them. So after that, they were pretty much not much strict with the luggage policies. So it was 23 into 2. So they just check it bag wise, and if it's 25 in one bag and less than that in another, you just check for 46 kgs in total. It depends that you go in for your hand luggage, because some check the hand luggage weight and others don't check it. So that depends on your luck. So you can't just say like that. But the issue was they didn't issue me the boarding pass at that point. I didn't check it. So they issued me only till Delhi. Then I realized that I need to get 2 boarding passes for my connection flight from Delhi to Chennai, to Cochin. But since I just checked it within the counter, I was able to contact them again and get the boarding pass. So we need to be careful to get 2 boarding passes if we are having multiple flights. Because after we learned in Delhi, it's difficult to get a boarding pass again because you have to go to security check everything. So I got it. After the security clearance is done, it's pretty much easy. Just check your temperatures. And if you are the issue, they give you 2 face masks. And if you are sitting in the middle seat, they'll give you a PPE kit. That's it. So after you go to the flight, during the VBM Phase 5, it was not allowed. They were not allowed to give hot foods. It was only packed foods. So it will be on our seats, and we will be given face shields to wear. Though they say it's mandatory to wear, most of the people just wear the face mask and they don't use the shield because it's tough to wear for a long journey of 8 hours. But our flight got delayed by 1 hour, but they reached before time. So that was a good one. After we landed, it was pretty much a nice experience because they first deboarded Amritsar passengers, then Jaipur. So state-wise, city-wise, they deboarded. So it was easy for us to maintain social distancing. Though they don't strictly follow social distancing, we, for our precaution, need to follow it. So before we start from UK, we just need to apply the Air Suvidha. Though we are not having any exemption, we need to apply and inform that we are coming. So that
All right.
needs to be done. Many people think that since we are not having any exemption, we need not apply. But that is mandated to be applied. So we need to apply, and we must have done the registration with the HCA London. So if we are having that, that's more than enough. Then I came to Delhi, and probably I was the only one who was going to Cochin. So I had my security check again at Terminal 3, and they allowed me in. It was a long layover, 17 hours layover in Delhi airport. Luckily, there were less passengers. So the entire airport was pretty much empty.
Pretty
And
much empty. Yeah.
there is a waiting launch near gate 26, if I'm not wrong, 24 or 26. It's a very comfortable area. People who travel priorly had given information about it. So you can pretty much go and have a good sleep. It's a very good area to have a sleep. Nice chairs are available. The issue was like some people shared the hotels in Delhi airport do not have bathroom facilities or charging ports. So it's better not spending 10,000 rupees for a stay overnight. Since the airport is pretty much empty, you can have a comfortable stay inside the terminal.
Great. So, in terms of your choice of using as Cochin, how did you do that? Is that because you didn't find direct link to Chennai? And what prompted you to use that Cochin route? And how did you travel from Cochin to Chennai?
Actually, I had to travel only till Thanjavur. The issue was one. Second issue is like I wanted to reach Chennai anyhow from Delhi. So there are only three options available: either Cochin, Bangalore, or Chennai.
Okay.
Issue was I didn't get any feeder flight despite numerous calls to Air India customer care. They just take your number and say we'll call back, but we never receive the call back. That's the biggest issue we had with them. So that time the issue was, though the 96-hour rule was brought in, if you have a negative test, you can directly go home. But since the clause was the state governments can have their own rule, Tamil Nadu government had the rule that though you are under exempted category, you need to quarantine for at least 2 days. And since your until your first result comes a negative and you give sample for the second one and can leave. So I had only two options, either to come to Chennai or come to Cochin, because that is even more near to me. But I didn't get any flight, and luckily one fellow responded from Air India customer care, and they said only till Cochin it's available. I was like, okay, because I was waiting from March to get back home. I was a student.
Goodness.
I was studying back. So I had to stay because I didn't get any flights. And it was about, the time was about to end for my accommodation. My contract was about to end. I had to return back. I had no other option. So I was like, okay, then I'll take Cochin. So I chose Cochin, and after I chose Cochin, the other passengers, those who had traveled, helped me with the e-pass. 3 e-passes. One to exit Tamil Nadu, one to re-enter, and another pass to get inside Kerala. So I had applied the Kerala one, and once I got that approved, I used that number to apply for my entry into Tamil Nadu. And by the time it was post 17th of August, and the state government has announced that whoever applies for e-pass, everyone will get their pass approved. So it was only a matter of time, and it got approved immediately. So I had my father, my driver, and myself to be coming back inside Tamil Nadu. So it was pretty much an easier process. So my feeder flight from Delhi was a combined one with passengers from US, Canada, and the flight was also till Bangalore. So once we landed at Cochin, we deboarded, and the flight then went on, proceeded to Bangalore. So it was a simpler process, not even 5 or 10 minutes inside the Cochin airport. It was pretty much empty airport. So once I deboarded, I was asked for my AS Vida, which I had filled, and I had my PDF in my mobile. They just checked it. And while boarding at Heathrow, you are given a form from Air India that you have to declare where you are going, your contact details, about your health conditions, are you having any symptoms that we need to declare. And even if we lose that form, that's not an issue, because they will again give you doing Delhi to Cochin transit. That's not an issue, but only issue is you need to be careful about your boarding pass. If you miss it, that's an issue, because they check your boarding pass at time of immigration. So that is to be kept carefully. So they checked my AS Vida. They asked if I have fall under any exempted category. I said nothing. So they checked that, and it was all done. So it was all done at immigration. Once we cross the immigration near the exit point. They check whether you are belong to Kerala or any other state, and if you are belong to any other state, they ask if you have any e-pass and check for your e-pass, and they give you a token like something like they ask whether you are using your own vehicle or taxi or something. I said I have my own vehicle, so they just issued a small token like something all clear, and after it was pretty much simple. So I came via a Valayar checkpost into Coimbatore. Checkpost that was I don't know, they didn't check much about the corona guidelines. They only check about the e-pass. After my since my e-pass was all good, they let me in. There was no checkpost at any point till I reached my home. Probably because I traveled late night. I don't know, was it the reason probably, but there was no checking anywhere, not even inside while entering Thanjavur. So once I reached home, anyway, since it is better for myself and for others concerning the safety, I quarantined myself for 14 days. But before boarding Heathrow on 20th, I had given test on 18th in the UK. And once I landed here, I got my results via email that it was negative. So anyway, it was to be on the safer path. I quarantined myself for 14 days back home here at home, but there was no testing. I don't know why.
But so it's good that you did the testing before you boarded the flight in UK. So that report was never used anywhere, even in Delhi or Cochin, nowhere. Okay, that's really interesting because
in DBM cases, it was not mandatory.
Okay, yeah, I think now it looks more and more mandatory, and it's getting tighter for people to get test slots as well. So that is really interesting when you say there was no need for the test report at all when you landed here. Great. Okay. All right. I think you pretty much covered everything you wanted to share. Is there any other main points or maybe critical points you want to share with the future travelers? They want to be careful because now lot of things have changed after you have reached here. So are you tracking? Are you been helping others like with the queries? What is your latest advice for people who want to join? Come now.
No, I'm not clearly. I'm not clear with the latest updates because now even looks like we have a center at the Delhi airport where you can get it and catch a domestic flight if your result is negative. But in our BB phase 5, it was more like the authority has to decide whether you are allowed to take a domestic flight if you are not having a feeder flight. That was an issue. Some were allowed, some weren't allowed. So now, if your report is negative at the Delhi airport, you can take a domestic flight. But in my case, it was not so. So I had to wait for something long hours in Delhi airport. Now it looks like if you are coming to Chennai, you need to have a negative report. I'm not sure of that, but I'm only helping others now with regards to e-pass since they're asking how to do it with Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So e-pass is pretty much a simpler process and getting approved much faster than what was earlier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There were limited number of people allowed earlier, but now it's more of a controlled process. So it's pretty much easy. But only thing we need to be careful is though they tell us to maintain social distancing, considering the practical difficulties, people come together while boarding. As well at deboarding, though there is social distancing, compared to boarding, it's pretty much not that effective. So you need to take precautions while traveling. Especially doing boarding at Heathrow. So that needs to be kept in mind. And as I said, we need to ensure that we are getting 2 boarding passes. So mostly it goes on well, but at times they are handling large number of people. So you need to be careful because after landing in Delhi, it's difficult to get a boarding pass again because you don't know where the Air India customer office is there or the boarding is there because just as you deboard, you are taken into the Terminal 3 directly by the Delhi airport authorities and you go for a security check again. So it's difficult to go there and ask for a pass because then you need to exit the airport again come in. So that's a difficult process. But mine was, since it was a feeder flight, my luggage were directly transferred from London to Cochin. So I didn't have the issue of taking my luggage again and again giving it for security clearance. So that was not an issue. Rest is fine. The process is much simple. Only thing is we need to be careful that we are having we have completed all the formalities that is required. That's it.
Okay, I think it's interesting that you were allowed to go into domestic terminal even though there was a 17 hours overlay. One of the case I heard from my network was um, she didn't realize, I think she realized it's a 17 hours delay, and then she came to the security check, in fact, after landing from the aircraft and then exiting the aircraft. She came to the security check, and then she informed the security that I have a 17-hour delay. Then they didn't allow her to clear the security. They said in that case you have to exit the airport and then stay somewhere and then come back. But it's good that in your case they allowed you to stay in the airport. I'm not sure what happened to her after that. So that's a really good experience, I think, for someone
It
who was
depends
allowed.
because the Delhi Airport Authority, soon after your flight lands, each person is allotted one city and they wait near the deboarding point and guide you till the international terminal, till Terminal 3 for your security check. So it depends. If there are no people, then it's difficult for you to cross the security check. But
yeah,
once they say that this man is having a ticket and we have checked it, so once they do that, they are automatically allowed to pass through it. Rest is fine inside the terminal.
great. Okay, yeah, thanks, Satya. I think it's really useful. Hopefully now, I think you are now, I think coming in phase 5. I think it has become more and more simpler now in phase 6, and hopefully everyone will not have any issues. But I think one good point from your journey is you doesn't need to only try for direct Chennai flight. You can also try for some other airports as well, and then come from there, because that was one of the issue right from the beginning. People were not clear whether you can travel to some other place and then travel from there because of the different state regulations about the e-pass. But your case is really a good example that you can explore and try. Good that I think you were given that lead by customer care, so that's why you have gone through it. But for others as well who doesn't have any more option, I think now pretty much everyone have option now to have direct flight. But if they don't have, I think they can.
Also.
That's right. Yeah, they have increased it. So it's good that you can try a different airport and come to Chennai. Great. Thanks for your time, Satya. And if we get any queries on this video, that will be
pretty much happy to help others.
Yeah, it will be posted on the comment section. If you can take time to respond, that would be great.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time, Satya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks.